And Friday, some light snow with a temp falling to about 6. Experience the comfort of Nightingale, your neighborhood bar and restaurant. Enjoy American classics like the famous Nightingale Burger, Ginger Tamari Chicken Wings, and Duck Pastrami Reuben. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with their full menu served until midnight. Takeout also available at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting live on AM 950, the Progressive Voice of Minnesota, in the evenings on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, and of course in Seattle in the afternoon drive and in the evenings on 1150 AM KKNW. It is the Matt McNeil Show for your Thursday. Good to have you with us today. Guest free for the entire shindig. Yay, 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 yay. Matt and Patrick here today. Good to have you with us. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Patrick, how are we today?
Doing pretty well. How is your Thursday going?
Well, I'm doing well. I'm still, it's sweatpants week here at AM 950, the mothership station. I have been so damn busy this entire week that just, it's with the holidays. And you know, someone asked me one time about cooking Thanksgiving dinner. I said, Thanksgiving dinner really is about, 2 to 3 days worth of cooking and some planning and coordinating, nothing really heavy duty. Christmas is sometimes a bear, but here's the good news. I'm one of these old school guys, man. I still got some Christmas cards, still getting those mailed out. I've got, the photos of the kids. I got to send them to grandma and stuff like that. Got to get that in the mail. It's just getting it all done. I will say, so one of the things I've noticed, do you get catalogs, hams or steaks or fruit or, knickknacks? Yeah, anything like that?
Not recently, no.
Okay. And so now I'm in a certain demographic and they're targeting me now. That would explain some things. I get a catalog. I'll tell you what, nothing gets me more excited than aged cheddar. Oh God, that's a fine looking catalog you got there. But I'm trying to buy fruit for my mom, and we had a debate last night. So this is I'm not going to say which company it is because I'm not going to give them free advertising, but it's one of these companies where you can get a fruit of the month thing. Okay. And you can do it for 3 months. You can do it for 6 months. You can do it for 9 months, and you can do it for 12 months. Now, my mom does not want to do the 12 month because she doesn't like the apples and the pears that come in the fall. But that's great because we can do the 9 month and she gets all like the citrus fruit that she likes and some mangoes and stuff like that. And I'm like, great, no problem. Piece of cake, done. I go over to order it last night. And the guy says, oh, you can't do 9 months. You can only do a year. I'm like, okay. I don't know why you're doing this, but is this just to try to basically get people to upsell and just, you're going to, you're going to do this because I said thanks, but no thanks. I don't want the fruit. So now I've got to go through all my catalogs again and find something I can get. Who doesn't like 12-year-old aged cheddar? It's delicious. Wisconsin's pretty good at that, man. I'm all over that action. I do get, we just got a package from a friend of Door County cherries. They're supposed to be pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah, I've got friends who vacation up in Door County every year, so they know all about the cherries.
Oh, if you come from Minnesota, you can get some wild rice, and that's not a bad idea. You get actual wild rice, not the crud that you people think is wild rice, but an actual traditional Native American wild rice. It's delicious. Maybe I'll send her some of that. I don't know, but the fruit was easy. Stop making things difficult. I also cannot stand a catalog where you've sent me a catalog and I start ordering stuff to go and get delivered to family, and it's the 10th of December, and you say, we're sold out of that. How are you sold out of that? It's 2 weeks before. We're sold out of that. 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 Well, what do you have? We have the the bubblegum flavored mints. Ugh, God, ugh. We'll get you a variety pack. No, thanks. Sweatpants week continues until I get all this stuff done. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. To our friends out in the Pacific Northwest, all my best out there, residents of the Pacific Northwest and of the U.S. and Canada are bracing for what could be record-setting floods as atmospheric river dumps rain on already swollen rivers. On Thursday, the National Weather Center reported major, in some cases, record flooding along the Skagit and the Snohomish rivers in the state of Washington. That's expected to continue through Friday. In Canada, major highways to Vancouver have been closed because of flooding, debris, and the risk of avalanches. There are evacuation orders in place for thousands of people in the U.S. and Canada, and authorities have warned more rain is on the way. In the U.S., the governor of Washington State, Bob Ferguson, declared a statewide emergency on Wednesday. An estimated 100,000 residents could soon face evacuation orders. The emergency declaration warned that continued rain and snow at mountain elevations would exacerbate flooding conditions. Supply chains and transportation could severely be impacted, and declaration added. Skagit County, the major agriculture area north of Seattle, has issued an immediate evacuation order to residents who live in the floodplain. Yikes. 775,000 people could be evacuated from low-lying areas. The director of Washington Military Department's Emergency Management Division, Robert Ezell, told reporters on Wednesday. The weather guy said on Thursday that the Skagit River will cause severe near-record flooding from Rockport down through Sedro-Woolley. It warned of deep and swift floodwaters, especially in the Cape Horn, Hamilton, and Thunderbird regions. The Snohomish River County Sheriff's Office said in an overnight social media post they had rescued multiple people by helicopter after they became trapped in the homes in Sultan, Washington, a community roughly 40 miles northeast of Seattle. Yikes. Sheriff's Office warned residents on Thursday morning that the eastern part of the county is most affected after the Skykomish rivers crested above 24 feet, just shy of the record. All my best to everyone out there. Obviously, as we get focused sometimes on the holidays, we shouldn't forget people that are in need. Obviously, Red Cross, make donations, help out who you can, because it ain't coming from the federal government at this point. And I've got good faith. Washington is a great state. And I'm all my best to the Vancouver and the Canadians. And we have a lot of people that listen from Canada. And so, hi, guys up there. All my best to everyone out there as well. And, if you can make a donation, do make a donation. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be losing a lot of things. And so we need to make sure we try to help out wherever we can. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Changing up directions dramatically. Amanda Seyfried, you know who she is, Patrick, the actress there from Mamma Mia. She played the daughter in that. You remember that?
I've heard the name. I don't know her though.
She's delightful, cute as a button too, just adorable. She was doing the press tour for A Testament for Ann Lee. She told Who, What, Where being WEAR, fashions. Okay, did you hear earlier? I'm wearing sweatpants. I guess I am. This is, yeah, whatever. There's Who's, What, Where. I am whatever. Anyway, she was on an interview with them on a press tour for this movie, Testament of Ann Lee, and she refuses to apologize for calling Charlie Kirk hateful after the Turning Point USA co-founder was shot and killed early this year. I'm not blanking apologizing for that, she said. I mean, for blank's sake, I commented on one thing. I said something that was based on actual reality and actual footage and actual quotes. What I said was pretty damn factual, and I'm free to have an opinion, of course. Thank God for Instagram. I was able to get some clarity. I was able to get about getting my voice back because I felt like I had been stolen and not recontextualized, which is what people do, of course. Kirk, of course, the 31-year-old conservative activist who was fatally shot in the neck on September 10th during a college speaking event in Utah. Seyfried originally commented on Kirk's death by writing, "He was hateful." The statement ignited accusations from some conservatives online that Seyfried was implying Kirk's death was justified. Quite the contrary, she responded to the backlash. I stand in a standalone Instagram post. I don't want to add fuel to the fire. I just want to be able to give clarity to something so irresponsibly but understandably taken out of context. Spirited discourse, isn't that what we should be having? Seyfried wrote in the post caption. We're also forgetting the nuance of humanity. She went on to explain, I can get angry about misogyny and racist rhetoric. I can also very much agree that Charlie Kirk's murder was absolutely disturbing and deplorable in every way imaginable. No one should have to experience this level of violence. This country is grieving too many senseless and violent deaths and shootings. We can agree to that at least. She was one of many Hollywood figures in September who both condemned Kirk's shooting while also publicly disagreeing with his politics. Jamie Lee Curtis fought back tears on Mark Maron's WTF podcast when discussing Kirk. I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say, but I believe he was a man of faith, and I hope the moment when he died, he felt connected with his faith, Curtis said. I'm going to basically, we talked about this. This is once again, to a point, it's a bit of terrifying bit of this country. Now, obviously, I'm going to start with the point. I have been railing against gun violence for decades for this reason. I disagree with Charlie Kirk, but God, he did not deserve to go. No one deserves to go out like that. My God, that was horrible. It was horrible and disturbing. And, you know, he's got a wife, they've got family, this is, whether it's the assassination of the Hortmans in Minnesota and the shootings of Senator Hoffman and his wife Yvette, if it's threats against Ilhan Omar, that people trying to kill her, this stuff is wrong. It's horrible. And we need to do something about gun violence outside of hoping it doesn't get worse, because it's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. No, he did not deserve to die. No one should have to die like that. That was truly horrible. And I do feel sorry for him. He did also say a lot of really hateful things. He did. And there was this moment where I honestly think there was an attempt by the MAGA right to be able to say, we are going to rewrite reality in real time. And it was twofold on ignoring a lot of what Charlie Kirk was known for. Charlie Kirk was known for, and what he wanted to be known for, being contrarian and inflammatory on some levels, and trying to change that into, I guess, a meager 1870s preacher just speaking the good word, and that's what it was. At the same time of the everyone needs to be fired. I mean, the cancel culture movement never was as vibrant and as vicious as it was in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination. He did say hurtful things. I commend her. And one of the truth is that if we allow reality to be rewritten in real time, we are screwed, because there is going to be nothing that stops the people who are doing the evil stuff from being able to dictate the narrative in advance. And trust me, and there's a lot of cases of this stuff in world history, and it takes hundreds of years for the truth to come on out. And I don't think this world can survive that. Take a break. Come on back. It's the Matt McNeil Show. I'm trying to kiss your lips for real. Red hearts, red.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Now on view at the Minneapolis Institute of Art. Step into the splendor of Cambodia's Khmer Empire with Royal Bronzes, Cambodian Art of the Divine. This groundbreaking exhibition showcases the empire's exquisite bronze artistry with statues, ritual objects, and artifacts that reveal a fascinating blend of mystery, devotion, and royal power. See the enduring legacy of Cambodia's sacred metallurgical traditions as you witness over 200 objects, including a colossal sculpture of the Hindu god Vishnu. Tickets and information at artsmia.org.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Hey, Chanhassen and Eden Prairie. It's Alex with Buzzcut Mowing. Winter's on its way. Why spend your morning shoveling snow when I can take care of it for you? I provide fast, thorough, and reliable snow removal. Your driveway and sidewalk stay clear, safe, and completely stress-free. Stay warm, skip the back-breaking work, and let me handle all the heavy lifting this season. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today to make winter easier, safer, and more enjoyable with Buzzcut Mowing.
Let Next Chapter Booksellers help you with your holiday shopping. Next Chapter Booksellers has the perfect gift ideas. Books make for easy, thoughtful gifts that are a breeze to wrap and ship. And if you're not sure what book to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at recommendations for any age and taste. Explore their wide selection of puzzles and games for interactive family fun. And if you're still stumped, then try a Next Chapter Booksellers gift card. That's Next Chapter Booksellers in St. Paul, your destination for easy-to-give gifts.
Don't you know that we can do the math and work it out?
It is the Matt McNeil Show. What do you get somebody with a hard-to-shop-for holiday list? Well, how about an oil tanker from Venezuela? Because apparently that's what Donald Trump has decided to go get. A last-minute stocking stuffer, I guess you could say. Yeah, this is actually really freaking dangerous. I don't know what these clowns are thinking. Senior Democratic lawmakers and at least one Republican have condemned Wednesday's seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker off the nation's coast. Once again, this was Operation Hide the Epstein Files. One of the politicians said Trump is sleepwalking us into a war with Venezuela. Or, once again, the war to hide the Epstein Files. There is growing at least somewhat bipartisan unease in Washington over the administration's escalating military posture in the region. Trump has accused Venezuela of facilitating drug trafficking and increased U.S. military presence in the Caribbean to levels not seen in decades. The administration has also conducted a campaign of bombings of alleged drug boats, killing more than 80 people so far. Sometimes 50 minutes after they blew up the boat and they're just floating in the water and they said, okay, why not? Wow. Trump confirmed the tanker seizure shortly after it was occurred, telling reporters, we just seized the tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large, largest one ever seized, actually. God, is he... Apparently, a quick side note, apparently they've had to put signs in every room of the White House so that when Trump walks in there, he knows what room he's in. I'm not joking. Apparently that's there. If you go into the White House, there are big signs saying Oval Office or, secretary's room, whatever the case may be, that because he clearly is not mentally well, which makes you ask the question, who's actually ordering this stuff at this point? Large tanker, very large, largest one ever seized, actually. When asked what would happen to the oil, Trump said, we'll keep the oil, I guess. Senator Chris Van Hollen of Maryland, who serves on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said the tanker seizure indicated the administration is being dishonest about its military operation in the region. This shows a wholly cover story that this is about drug, stopping drugs is a big lie, Van Hollen said. This is just one more piece of evidence that this is really about regime change by force. Rand Paul, a Republican senator of Kentucky, told News Nation that seizing someone's oil tanker is an initiation of a war and questioned whether it's the job of the American government to go looking for monsters around the world, looking for adversaries and beginning wars. Reminder, Rand, he wants to hide the Epstein files. And so he has to hide them in plain sight. So let's grab the big boat. Big boat, big. Chris Coons, the Democratic senator, said he was also alarmed by the administrative actions, telling the station, I have no idea why the president is seizing an oil tanker, and I'm fairly gravely concerned he's sleepwalking us into a war with Venezuela. Mark Warner, also a Democratic senator, highlighted what he characterized as inconsistent priorities, posting on social media so they can seize an oil tanker but not a drug boat, which is actually a really good point. Wait a second. Whoa. Navy guys, you can take down the super duper big oil tanker, but you can't stop 3 guys in a cigarette boat who, once again, may or may not be running drugs, but who are clearly not running drugs in the United States because the boats they're in couldn't make it to the U.S. coast if they wanted to. All right. Not all were opposed. Here. Okay. Not all people were opposed. One Ted Cruz chimed in. When asked for his reaction on the oil tanker seizure, he deflected and said Trump was saving American lives by targeting drug smugglers. Does Ted Cruz think you snort oil? By the way, it should be mentioned that even Fox News cornered Carolyn Levitt, the Taco Bell. He cornered her and said, well, isn't this jeopardizing Trump's peace prize by taking or things? She goes, we're against drugs. Okay, this isn't drugs. It's oil. Is there part of me when I saw this, I said, is part of what he's going to do is take this oil, download it, put it into vials, and sell it to his Trump fans saying, get some of the Trump oil, $300 per vial, once in a lifetime collection item. I actually wonder if that's exactly what this is. Well, no, it's Operation Hide the Epstein Files. That's all this is. He is still terrified of the Epstein files getting out. He knows the clock is ticking and they have to release the files. And he's frantically, my guess is 20 minutes before the files are released, he'll launch a bombing raid on Venezuela. I am dead serious. I think 20 minutes before the Epstein files are supposed to be released, he will launch a bombing raid. We are at war with Venezuela. And we're going to be like, oh my God, because that's what this guy does. He is able to take horrific news and put it on the back burner by going out in front of the press corps, dropping trow and waving his cheeks at the press corps. And all of a sudden they have to talk about that. Now he's trying to hide his cankles. So he's not going to do that. So he's, I guess, going to declare war in Venezuela. Once again, my bet is going to be 20 minutes before they release the Epstein files, they have to release them. He launches a bombing raid on Venezuela. And yeah. After the U.S. military seized the large crude oil tanker off of Venezuela, President Trump suggested the ship's contents could remain in U.S. possession. We'll keep it, I guess, he told Wednesday during the business roundtable of the White House. After the Guianan flag skipper was seized. And once again, this isn't even a Venezuelan boat. It's a Guianan. It's from Guyana. And so I don't know what they're going to feel like one of their ships being taken. Similar seizures in the past have led to the sale of confiscated assets. The question now is where the oil from the Venezuela ship may end up and the proceeds to the distributed. The skipper was loaded with 1.1 million barrels of oil in mid-November and appeared to be headed to Cuba. Though the tanker flew a Guianan flag, the country's Marine Administration Department said in a statement on Wednesday that the ship is not registered, though, in that country. So, okay. I'll find out where it is registered, but is he going to keep the boat? Somebody's boat. Those aren't cheap. I'm 57. They're not going to call my caboose back up to serve. But I want to make sure you understand it. They will. This is operations, stop the files, the Epstein files from being released. And if that means incorporating a draft to kill off a bunch of kids, American kids on foreign land just to keep the Epstein files off the front page, these people will do that. And we shouldn't be doing that. Venezuela is not a threat to us. It just is not. The drug boats, they can't get to the United States. This oil tanker, okay, he has a really weird war on fossil fuels. We'll take a break. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
To the angels, draw a circle.
Come see the trained chimp. It's the Matt McNeil Show, 3 to 5 p.m. weekday afternoons, right here on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Some versions of A Christmas Carol are hot toddies, sweet and cozy. Open Eye Theater's holiday tradition, Scrooge in Rouge, it's a Boilermaker, a raucous Victorian vaudeville-style musical that spikes your holiday with camp and chaos. Scrooge in Rouge is backed by audience demand for the third year in a row. Celebrate the holidays with Open Eye Theater, now through December 28th. Bring your friends, bring your festive spirit, and leave your figgy pudding at home. Christmas can be a drag in the best way. Tickets at openeyetheater.org.
Hi, I'm Rachel Shamblat. My dad is Dr. Scott Shamblat from Shamblat Family Dentistry. A lot of people are afraid of the dentist, but you don't have to be. My dad makes going to the dentist comfortable and even fun. He won't be mad if you haven't seen a dentist in a long time. He just wants to take care of you and your teeth. If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. It's been great working with so many of the passionate AM 950 listeners over the years. We have realized how important AM 950 is to the community. I want to see AM 950 continue to grow and continue to thrive into the future. To help continue to grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to do your part by liking and sharing the content on AM 950 social media platforms.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Ryan has always told me the best time to get work done is during the colder months of the year because demand is much lower. He is backing that up again by offering 30% off labor on windows and siding from now until the end of December. Call Snap Construction now to get 30% off labor on windows and siding. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Trust the company AM 950 trusts Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, and window contractor in the metro area. Get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Get the perfect holiday gift. Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards never expire and can be used for any show. White Christmas, the concert series, Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret, or coming soon, the high-rolling musical spectacular Guys and Dolls. Visit chanhassendt.com.
AM 950 faces urgent threats from an administration wanting to silence independent progressive voices. Keep Minnesota's only independent progressive station on the air by shopping with our advertisers. Your support is vital during these times. View the full directory of businesses to support at am950radio.com. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies today with a high near 19. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 12. And Friday, some light snow with a temp falling to about 6. We're asking you to stand with us in this critical moment. Without your support, AM 950 and Progressive Radio is at serious risk of disappearing. A one-time or sustaining donation keeps your progressive voice on the airwaves. You'll also receive a 2026 calendar as a thank you. Find more details about memberships at am950radio.com. You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Broadcasting in the evenings in Seattle in the afternoon drive, 11:50 a.m. KKNW, in the evenings in Chicago, WCPT 820 Chicago's Progressive Talk, and of course in Minneapolis, St. Paul on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. It is the Matt McNeil Show. I just caught this here. They've tried for the third time to indict Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, and their grand jury came back and said no, refused to return a fraud indictment against James, who Trump has called an enemy. The original case was thrown out. Then twice they've tried now to get a grand jury. Do you know how easy it is to get a grand jury to push charges forward? They can't even do that. There are some people who have said that the public is so kind of against Trump and is actually getting so much more informed than they were before about this stuff. That's going to be next to impossible for him to be able to, get indictments against people who are clearly not guilty of the crimes that they are being accused of doing. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Quick shout out to our good friends down in Chicago, WCPT. Of course, Heartland Signal is the news outlet down there. And if you're not, there's a lot of great local news outlets out there, and I love them. And Heartland Signal is fantastic. If you're not following it, bookmark it, check it. It's got good stuff. They got a great article here about how Tennessee's 7th 13-point Democratic shift could look across the nation for 2026. To give you an idea of why we need to keep fighting and not let the fuel burn out on our outrage over what's going on in this country. And I'll get to this here in just a little bit, but there is going to be a massive ad campaign, not paid for ads. No, not paid for ads, but manipulated social media pages and manipulated news sources whose job it's going to be is to get as many Republicans elected as possible at the midterm election. And hey, so your healthcare costs $2,000 more. Hey, isn't that great? I mean, that's going to be what they're going to be trying to sell. Or they'll try to find something that they can vilify, and this is what we're going to be up against. And so you need to keep, I was just talking a little bit earlier with a friend about the No Kings rally. That was the biggest rally in the history of this country. I know already there are people talking about it, having another one coming up here in spring, hopefully bigger, and keep this going. I do not think the Trump economy is going to get any better. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be markedly worse. So things are lining up to where it's going to be very difficult for the Republicans, but just know there's going to be a tremendous amount of pressure to basically in the news media and in social media to basically make, downplay the Republicans as all the problems that they've done and make, the Democrats look a lot worse. That's just coming. So the Heartland Signal did a great little story here. I'll post this up here a little bit. Last week, Republicans won a special election in Tennessee's 7th by 9 percentage points, but that's got them scared. That's because the margin was 13% worse than it was the previous election, basically a year earlier. Normally, Republicans could walk off shift like that by noting that Democrats tend to do better in low turnout special elections, and they weren't predictive in 2023-24, but turnout in the special election was actually higher than in the 2022 midterm elections. And Republicans can even chalk the narrow win up to crummy nominee. Newly elected Representative Matt Van Epps was a pretty generic Republican, with the Democratic nominee who had taken some Republican stances on the left of most voters in the district. In short, Republicans are losing a lot of their own voters, shifting margins around 13%. We saw this matched up on Tuesday in that special election in that local Georgia race. It was a 13-point swing. And in that case, the Democrats did win that seat for the first time in a while. So 13%, that is a lot. A blue wave shift level. So what begs the question, what would this do in 2026 if we had a nationwide shift of 13%? It would mean winning in 250 House seats, possibly a Senate majority. I actually think right now that if things continue the way they are, I think the Republicans are in real big trouble. And I don't think that they're going to just the Democrats are going to pick up 1 or 2 House seats. I think they're going to pick up an astounding amount of House seats. And do I think the Senate is in play? Oh, dang right, the Senate's in play. There are not enough Republicans who are running who are safe from that 13-point swing. So here they do this. What they do is if they kind of factor this through in the states, and they say, okay, so if this 13-point swing happens, what would happen in local states and local elections here? You would have definitively trifectas in, there'd be 6 states. The Democrats would have the trifecta in 6 states: Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. And I can tell you in Minnesota, in case you just missed the news today, Mike Lindell is indeed running for the governor. Thank you, Jesus. It's Christmas. Mike Lindell, sponsored by Hardee's. Who doesn't love those biscuits? He is running for the governor of the state of Minnesota. And he more than likely, considering who elects who picks the winners, who runs in the primaries, I think he's got a pretty good chance because I'd be highly doubtful that Trump will actually support someone else. Maybe he will, but I think Trump will support. Will support Lindell. That's just great. Anyway, so in Minnesota, the only thing that's keeping the Democrats from having the trifecta is a tie in the Minnesota House. I can already guarantee you right now they're looking like they're going to get wiped out in the suburbs. I mean, any suburban seat that still is in the Republican hands is likely going to be gone. Plus, a lot of these other metro areas across the state, I think frankly, I think there's going to be a lot of red areas that are going to flip in the state of Minnesota to the Democrats. And I'll talk about that more coming up here in the next hour. But so trifectas would be Democrats would have a trifecta, control the House, the Senate, or if it's the Assembly, because Wisconsin's the Assembly, Senate, and the governor's office. That would be Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New Hampshire. The Pennsylvania and New Hampshire would be shocking because of the uphill climb in both states' Senates. The Pennsylvania Senate staggering terms, so Democrats could only try to win half the seats in 2026. Meanwhile, the New Hampshire Senate is subject to brutal right-wing gerrymandering that was intended to make it impossible for Democrats to win the majority. But in both chambers, Democrats would eke out narrow majorities in a blue wave similar to the one in Tennessee. This is where at least one chamber would flip, and there's only 2 states here. North Carolina and Alaska. North Carolina is another state subject to egregious right-wing gerrymanders where Democrats could easily win a majority of votes and still fall short. However, the House map isn't built to withstand a wave of this size. Republicans could win a majority of seats there while falling one seat shy of a tie in the Senate. At the very least, this would prevent Democratic Governor Josh Stein, who isn't up for election until 2028, from having his vetoes overridden, which happens on occasion because Democrats only have a 1-seat margin to block a veto override in the chamber. So Alaska, North Carolina, they could see one of the chambers go there in those states. Super majority states where the Democrats could become veto proof. There's quite a few. Washington State, not Illinois. Washington State, Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico, Delaware, New York, and Vermont all would become super majority states for the Democrats, where basically the Republicans are, incapable of stopping whatever the Democrats want to pass in those states. So and as well, you have to look at the broken super majorities, because as I say that, and there are Republicans out there like, Democrats will jam this stuff down our throat. Well, funny story, you should mention, there are plenty of states where the Republicans do that right now. The GOP has super majorities in a lot of states, and they jam things down the Democrats' throat. But if this 13-point swing holds, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Ohio, and Indiana, the GOP supermajorities in those states would be broken under a 13-point shift. It'd be a stunning rebuke of MAGA because those are MAGA states. 13-point shift is not going to happen, though. We don't know what's going to happen. Once again, there was a CNN numbers guy. They said that they went back and they looked at presidents who started their second term, who started off in negative numbers, and did any of them bounce back even 5 points from the same time period to the next election cycle? And none of them did. Is that if you're in your second term and you start going south in the polls, it's next to impossible for you to bounce back. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I think Trump is trying to start this war in Venezuela. He's trying to, I'm the wartime president. Now go get me my bucket of chicken. Yeah, that sort of thing. They won't, I don't know if it's going to be 13 points. My gut feeling is these Trump policies become worse. I mean, they just in the Senate today voted down extending the Affordable Care Act tax credits. And so health insurance is about to skyrocket for millions of Americans. Will that be enough to wake people up and say, hey, maybe it's important to vote? Maybe. I talk about 1930, 1932. I mean, In 1930, before the election, Republicans had a veto-proof majority in the House and the Senate, and of course, Hoover was the president. After the 1930 election, it was pretty much, I won't say a tie. I think the Democrats controlled one of the houses, and it was pretty close to a tie in the other one, but still Hoover was president. They couldn't get the stuff done. And then the next election, it was a major shift. That was like a 100-seat shift. The next election was FDR came into power, and it was basically another massive shift. I think you could see something like that happen here. Absolutely. I'm going to go back to, though, something I said earlier in this segment, and this is about you have to understand the game that social media is playing and the media is playing as a whole. Now, we've talked a lot about the New York Times, the Washington Post, the LA Times. The CBS News has gone to the far right. You've got, of course, Fox News and the right-wing outlets. You've got a lot of places, and even places like News Nation and CNN, their de facto position is, okay, I've got to give the Republicans some leeway. And that's just a factual truth. And it's frustrating, but it is the truth. Social media, you have one of the things that is it's clear is on some of them, like Twitter, which is very much in Trump's camp, they are not only dictating the algorithms to promote right-wing content and bury left-wing content, which is what they're doing, but they also have paid contributors who are getting paid big money to promote right-wing policies. Same thing happened on TikTok. There's a lot of Generation Z influencers on TikTok who are all of a sudden like, who, me? I wasn't necessarily calling for Trump to be in office. I mean, they just paid me some money. I didn't know it was going to be like this. But they're going to be back to doing that. I bring up Meta, that's Facebook and Instagram and Threads. I've talked about how in Threads, I was doing great with followers. I was doing great. I was picking up a lot of followers, and I was like 2,500 followers. I was doing really well. And then all of a sudden, Zuck went and met with Trump at the White House in November of last year. And then almost overnight, I started losing followers in leaps and droves, and it's never come back. It is two wildly different. Threads is a completely different social media page today than it was before that Zuck Trump meeting. It just is. And as you can imagine, same thing qualifies for Facebook, same thing qualifies for Instagram to a point. There is going to be, as I point out these numbers, and I point out what a 13-point swing will look like, and the amount of power that the Republicans who have created this scheme where with a small minority of the population, they can control a majority of the government. The last thing they want is that going away. So we are about to see a full court press through the entire 2026 year of CBS and Facebook and Twitter, TikTok, and the New York Times all talking about, should we really be so critical of the Republicans and Democrats are evil? Just be prepared. Keep your fuel burning, okay? It's the Matt McNeil Show.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? 'Tis the season to be jolly, and nothing makes me jollier than a clean home. Maybe you breathed a sigh of relief that Thanksgiving wasn't at your house this year, but now you're realizing you are going to be hosting something in December and your home isn't ready. But don't worry, there's time to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to come out and get things in order before your friends and family come over. Zero Res can take care of any surface in your home, from tiles, carpets, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, and more. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know they're safe and effective. They have a 4.9 rating on Google reviews with over 21,000 satisfied customers. Go ahead and get clean and don't miss this deal. Call Zero Res right now, 9520-RES, or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Lock yours in today. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res. Backward or forward spells the same.
Across this country, LGBTQ rights are under threat. This is a struggle that the LGBTQ community knows all too well. Since 1987, Outfront Minnesota has been fighting for LGBTQ rights and protections here at home, and this work is needed now more than ever. Hard-fought wins here in the state of Minnesota are at risk, from the ban on the harmful practice of conversion therapy that passed in 2023 to transgender protection secured in our State Human Rights Act in 1993, and even national recognition of our same-sex marriage protections that we secured in 2013 are at risk. Outfront Minnesota has helped Minnesota become a national leader in LGBTQ rights, and they will hold the line to make sure we don't lose what we've gained. But they need you. Now is the time to step up and support Outfront Minnesota and LGBTQ rights here in our state. Outfront Minnesota needs your financial support today to strengthen LGBTQ protections at home, at school, and at the state capitol. Learn more and make your gift at outfront.org/give. That's outfront.org/give.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067, or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. A shout out to August, who called. Yes, I do mispronounce Venezuela. Venezuela. I don't know why I do that. I think it's the same thing as there must have been something in my past. Like when I watched Princess and the Frog from Disney, and they don't call New Orleans, New Orleans, they call it New Orleans. And go down to New Orleans and say New Orleans, because you will be hit by a muffaletta sandwich in the face. I mean, and which, by the way, as far as punishments go, not bad one. But yeah, that's Venezuela. Point taken. Thank you. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I wanted to bring this up because this is just weird. And it's got buried in a lot of people probably wouldn't see it. The Brazilian-born mother of White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt's nephew, who was recently detained by the U.S. immigration authorities, has rejected the Trump administration's characterization of her as an absentee parent. If you don't know, they arrested her. Now, did they arrest her by design? We don't know. But word got out that Carolyn Leavitt's, sister-in-law, for lack of a better way to say it, that'd probably be right, sister-in-law, was picked up by ICE agents. All of a sudden, this became a story, and people were like, are you going to allow the mother of your nephew to be rounded up and thrown out of the country? Bruna Ferreira, who was detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in November during a traffic stop in Massachusetts and being held in a Louisiana detention center, said in an interview with the Washington Post that the White House's statements that she had never lived with her son or spoken with Leavitt in many years were incorrect. Ferreira, 33, had a relationship with Leavitt's brother, 35-year-old Michael Leavitt. They had a son, Michael Leavitt Jr., now aged 11. Okay. Seems pretty straightforward there. I mean, I might have, missed some things lately, but if you're going to have a kid together, you generally have to, for the most part, be in the same room with each other. Modern technology, huh? She said she was offended by the White House's characterization, calling them disgusting. She said she takes her son to Dave & Buster's and food and video game chains, ferries him to school, cheers at sports games, and fills his bedroom with everything a young boy needs. So it sounds like she is indeed active in her child's life. Ferrer told the Post that she also moved mountains to ensure her son could attend Carolyn Leavitt's wedding to real estate developer Nicholas Riccio in early January. Ferrer also said she approved her son to attend the White House Easter egg hunt in the spring. So clearly there was, at least even in the spring, there was some sort of coordination between her and Levitt. I asked Carolyn, a.k.a. Taco Bell, to be the godmother of Michael Jr. over my only sister. I made a mistake there in trusting. Yeah. Bad call on the Demogorgon being your godparent of your child. That's a tough call. The Demogorgon. I thought maybe they'd be traditional. A traditional Catholic Demogorgon. Why they're creating this narrative is beyond my wildest imagination. Well, because they're petty, small people. They called for people to be rounded up just because of the color of their skin. You got rounded up, or even more nefarious, Carolyn and her brother basically said, let's get rid of mama, and tried to get you thrown out of the country. And they got caught at it. So that's why they're lying. This differentiated accounts that came as Ferrer was released on a $1,500 bond on Monday after immigration judge Cynthia Goodman ordered that she be freed on the lowest dollar bail possible, according to her lawyers. Attorney Jason Thomas told the judge the government's characterization of his client was both unfair and untrue. A lawyer representing the Department of Homeland Security did not object to Ferrero's release and said he agreed with her lawyers that she was not a danger to society or flight risk, as the Washington Post reported. A DHS spokesperson confirmed Ferrero's detention in November, followed by the prior arrest for battery. The DHS spokesman said the tourist visa, which she gained entry in the United States, required her to leave on June 6, 1999. She came to the U.S. from Brazil with her family when she was only 6 years old. They have not produced records relating to her alleged arrest for battery. Once again, this seems to the fact that the judge said release her with no recognizance, and even the DOJ's lawyer was like, yeah, there's no reason for us to hold her. Her lawyer, Tom Parmelo, told the Post his client had no criminal record, no immigration authorities, possibly alluding to an incident when she summoned to juvenile court after a fight outside of a Dunkin' Donuts over $8 in 2008. Really? So this is their big assault case was when she was a juvie in 2008. Oh, Dunkin' Donuts, man. God. Those blueberry ones. I like the blueberry flavor with the glaze. Oh. Anyway, sorry. Sidetracked. She told the court that outlet she met her elder Michael Levitt at a nightclub. They fell in love, got engaged, had a child, and lived together. But instead of marrying, they broke up in 2015. Have since been sharing parenting responsibilities. Ferrer has alleged in court documents that her son's father had threatened in the past to try to get her deported. Aha! Levitt, in a text exchange with the Post, denied seeking to have her deported. Well, she got arrested somehow by the ICE guys. I have no involvement in her being picked up by ICE, he reportedly wrote to Wednesday to the outlet. I have no control over that, and I had no involvement in that whatsoever. Boy, I'm just going to give you some advice. If you're trying to make it sound like you didn't have anything to do with it, you just made a statement, made it sound like you had everything to do with it. He also said he wanted their son to have a relationship with his mother, as I always have shown that. Now you're saying that, now that basically the world's paying attention to this story. Ferrer told the Post that other potential deportees of the detention center had questioned her about her relationship with the White House press secretary, including asking, did she not like you? And she said, your guess is as good as mine, Ferrer responded. So I want to make sure we understand this. There may or may not have been an attempt by Carolyn Levitt to do a favor for her brother, to get ICE to round up the mother of his child, throw him out of the country so that he would have full, basically parenting of the child. Okay. That is a possible scenario. The other one is that they just rounded it up because Brazilian. The fact that the White House has come on out with a litany of lies to basically character assassination or after the fact tells you they're trying to cover up something. I think this is Carolyn and her brother trying to get her deported. Chicago, Seattle, have a good one. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Minneapolis, St. Paul, hour 2 up next.
Here at AM 950, we work hard every day to be Minnesota's progressive voice. We believe in giving a platform to all communities who need to be heard, especially underserved ones from the LGBTQ community to our Native American neighbors. This kind of programming covering local advocacy and the big issues that matter is a daily challenge to produce. We simply can't do it alone. Your support is what makes it possible for our station to stay on the airwaves day in and day out. Please go to am950radio.com and make a donation to help support this work. As our thank you, we'll send you our 6th annual AM 950 calendar. It features beautiful nature photos from our own Matt McNeil taken on his walks right here in Minnesota. We also pack it with key dates from Progressive and our AM 950 station history. It's perfect for your wall, makes a great holiday gift, and is a great way to stay inspired all year. That's am950radio.com. Thanks for listening and your support.
Your Need to Know News headquarters, the Tom Hartman Program, AM 950, KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Russian President Vladimir Putin is claiming the strategic initiative on the battlefield in Ukraine, with troops taking another city in the Donetsk region. Ukraine denies Seversk has been captured. Saka Magani has the latest on U.S.-led efforts to end the war.
Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky says negotiators are wrestling with territorial issues.
We had conversation with the United States team about possible security guarantees for Ukraine, and we are working on a framework document, and it must be strong enough to truly work.
Zelensky revealed details of the talks before heading into an urgent meeting with European allies who back his efforts to reach fair terms in any settlement.
We are ready to work with President Trump in any format.
But here in Washington,
the president is extremely frustrated with both sides of this war.
And spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt says the U.S. could send a representative to more talks this weekend if it sees a real chance of signing a peace deal.
It's still up in the air whether we believe real peace can be accomplished and we can truly move the ball forward.
Sagar Meghani, Washington.
On Capitol Hill, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem linked the seizure of an oil tanker off Venezuela to anti-drug efforts.
What keeps me up at night is the individuals that are in this country that wish to do us harm. And that is why we are so aggressive.
The Senate's rejected an extension of health care subsidies. Democrats on Congress's Joint Economic Committee calculate President Trump's tariffs have cost the average American household nearly $1,200 this year. The number of Americans applying for unemployment benefits jumped last week by 44,000. They remain in a healthy range, however. Mortgage rates have ticked higher, the average 30-year at 6.22%. And the Dow and the S&P closed at new highs, the S&P up 0.2%. The Dow adding 646 points or 1.3%. The NASDAQ, however, slipped 0.3%. This is AP News.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go, but I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there, providing hot meals, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding.
To learn more, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Covered 7.
Get the perfect holiday gift. Chanhassen Dinner Theater's gift cards never expire and can be used for any show. White Christmas, the concert series, Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret, or coming soon, the high-rolling musical spectacular Guys and Dolls. Visit chanhassendt.com.
Shop local this holiday season with AM 950 advertisers. From theaters and wellness shops to restaurants and retail, there's something for everyone. It's a great way to support the station and local businesses. Find a full list of these partners at am950radio.com. That's am950radio.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Is your home ready for the holidays? 'Tis the season to be jolly, and nothing makes me jollier than a clean home. Maybe you breathed a sigh of relief that Thanksgiving wasn't at your house this year, but now you're realizing you are going to be hosting something in December and your home isn't ready. But don't worry, there's time to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to come out and get things in order before your friends and family come over. Zero Res can take care of any surface in your home, from tiles, carpets, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, and more. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know they're safe and effective. They have a 4.9 rating on Google Reviews with over 21,000 satisfied customers. Go ahead and get clean and don't miss this deal. Call Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Spots are filling up fast, so don't wait. Lock yours in today. Happy holidays from all of us at Zero Res. Backward or forward spells the same.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies today with a high near 19. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 12. And Friday, some light snow with a temp falling to about 6. Experience the comfort of Nightingale, your neighborhood bar and restaurant. Enjoy American classics like the famous Nightingale Burger, Ginger Tamari Chicken Wings, and Duck Pastrami Reuben. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. with their full menu served until midnight. Takeout also available at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hour number 2 of the show here today. Matt and Patrick here. Good to have you with us today. Guest free, 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Just a little bit of an FYI coming up a little bit later on today. We've got a pair of tickets to go to see White Christmas over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Fantastic. By the way, the food at Chanhassen is delicious. Absolutely delicious. They cover dinner and a show. Irving Berlin's White Christmas is a must-see holiday event for the season at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. The new musical work written in 2000, landed on Broadway in 2008. Of course, has a lot of great classic songs in there. Tickets are going to be available through the run, so make sure you listen for your chance to win tickets to go see White Christmas over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. Not something that we have to dream about. Patrick, you are a better sports mind than I am. I will give you that. I want to ask you something here. Okay, so you of course the Gophers finished up the what bowl game are they in? They're not in the Mayo Bowl this year again.
No, they are in the Rate Bowl in Phoenix.
The Rate Bowl. Talk about soulless. You got like Roadrunners, Cactus, all that stuff down there. The desert. You could do the Desert Bowl. Nope, it's going to be the Rate Bowl. All right. Who do we play?
New Mexico. It was originally, I heard it was going to be Iowa State, but then their coach got hired away, so they decided they weren't going to be in a bowl.
And he went to Penn State, right?
Yes, that's correct.
There's a lot of people. I mean, okay, so we can talk about the ups and downs within in some sports teams when it comes to college football. And the Gophers, once again, for the first 40 years of college football, they were pretty much the dominant team in college football with 5 national championships. That was, pretty impressive. They have had some good years. They've had some bad years. They've never really competed for the national championship in decades, or not for the national championship, or for even the conference championship in decades. They're not bad, but they're just they generally are somewhere between 9 and 7 wins on a season, and that means they generally get a decent bowl game. They're playing around the holidays, but that's it. But I think we're on the verge of seeing a major upheaval within the Big Ten. Of course, obviously Indiana, which is the Big Ten championship, number 1 team in the country, is going to be playing in the playoffs to go to be the national champion. They kind of kicked their way into the top echelon of teams. I think Penn State is definitely on the downward swing. I just do not see Penn State kind of bouncing back after the years they've had. And I think that they still are the school that allowed a child sex predator to violate kids in their facilities. And I don't care how many times people say, well, we've apologized. You should never even been allowed to have your football program exist after that. Shame on anyone that allowed that to happen. But Michigan is another one. I got to tell you, I'm a little concerned that Michigan, I know there's a lot of money in Michigan and there's a lot of alumni in Michigan, but there is an ugly story out of Michigan right now. And I'm going to be interested to see. I mean, this is on the tail. I mean, they got caught cheating. What was it, 2 years ago? where the guy was using the big placards on the sideline and they were spying on each other?
Yeah, they had a guy going around to different games spying on opponents.
Yeah, and they got caught red-handed on that. And of course, the coach left and went to the NFL and had really no suffering. But of course, the NCAA is never going to punish Michigan, and so they really didn't. But now you have another problem here, and I'm starting to wonder if Michigan is going to be okay for a while, because former University of Michigan head football coach Sharon Moore, is that how you say it, Sharon Moore?
Yes, that's
Sharon
right.
Moore is being held by police currently outside of Michigan after getting fired from his job for an inappropriate relationship with a member of his staff. Moore, who is married with 3 daughters, happy holidays, lost his job in a whirlwind of events on Wednesday after an investigation revealed credible evidence that the coach engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Apparently, there was an investigation into this beforehand. They said they came back and they said they didn't have enough evidence, but then they were presented with evidence which made it so clear that this was going on that they could not ignore it anymore. His termination was effective immediately with this is Michigan Athletic Director Ward Emanuel noting his conduct violated the school policy. Most places do have that. You can't really sleep with the staff. Moore was detained Wednesday by police in Saline, Michigan. Now, if you're saying to yourself, wait a second, he was detained by police. Yeah, generally that's, you having an affair with a staff member. That's not a jailable offense. Hold on. This is, he was turned over to the Pittsfield Township Police Department. At 4:10 p.m., the Pittsfield Police Department took a suspect into custody in connection with an assault investigation, authorities said in a statement. Police did not name Moore, but confirmed the department had received multiple media requests for information. Roughly an hour later, the university announced Moore had been fired. The incident does not appear to be random in nature, and there seems to be an ongoing threat to and there's no ongoing threat to the community. It's sounding like to me he got informed, we're going to probably have to let you go because you had an affair. I almost wonder if he knew who ratted him out. And I say that, you shouldn't be having an affair with your staff members, but who basically, told Michigan about his affair and went to confront them. Or did he, I don't know. I hope it wasn't his wife. But it sounds like this was, I think they'd call it domestic. They wouldn't call it an assault if the domestic would be involved. So it sounds like clearly, okay, so the Michigan announces an hour after he's arrested, he's been fired. So he must have gotten word of it. And it sounds like he went out there to try to pound somebody. An investigation is ongoing. He's being held in the county jail pending review of charges by the prosecutor. Police said the local media reported that Moore was not expected to formally be charged or arraigned on Thursday. Wednesday marked the end of Moore's coaching at Michigan. He served as the acting head coach while Harbaugh was suspended late in the season. Moore then took on the role as head coach in the 2024 season. He's led to a 17-8 record. This year, he's able to finish off the regular season at 9-3 before termination ahead of the team's bowl game against the University of Texas. Moore has been married to his wife, Kelly, since 2018. The pair have 3 daughters, Shiloh, Soleil, and Sadeh, according to his bio, which has been removed from the school website. Kelly, his wife, appears in several of Moore's Instagram posts. The pair got engaged in 2014 and tied the knot in 2015. So he gets caught having the affair. The question is, did he know who basically told the university about this? Well, first of all, dude, look in the mirror. You shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. He then goes out and it sounds like this, like I said, it sounds like he thinks he knew somebody who ratted him out and basically wanted to try to go and pound on the guy. Well, your life just became a lot more complicated. Well, I mean, your life just became a mess. I can't believe your wife and kids are going to really want to spend too much of the holidays with you, dude. My guess is going to be is you're probably not going to get too many college coaching jobs offered to you anytime soon because, you basically of this. And my guess is going to be there probably might be some lawsuits coming your way from either the person you assaulted or maybe even the woman you were having the affair with, because basically, she might be scorned as well. I wonder, you can only have so much turmoil within a program like this before they start falling off. I don't know. We've kind of looked up at Michigan, Ohio State, and the Big Ten and the football side of things forever and ever and ever. And right now, it's Indiana and Ohio State, and Michigan is kind of starting to become the third wheel. And remember, Penn State used to be the third wheel. Now Penn State's kind of fallen way behind. And so, this could just, lead to just natural turnover within the conference. I don't know. I mean, do you think that obviously, Patrick, Michigan has got the money. They got the alumni. They're going to throw a ton of money to get the best players there. But there's a lot of schools that got big alumni programs and a lot of money, and they don't do that well in football.
Everything just seems so razor thin now with the money and the transfer portal and stuff. So if Michigan doesn't play this right, I think they could really be set back seriously.
We'll have to find out. All right. Once again, the Gopher Bowl game, that's the 26th. That's the day after Christmas?
Yes.
So that's a Friday. And is it in Phoenix?
Yeah, at the Diamondback Stadium.
Okay. Not one. That's not one of the better stadiums out there. It's better than playing in the New York Yankees game, the Yankee Field. I mean, that end zone's got about 1 foot of clearance before you run into the wall.
That's a hard wall to run into, isn't it?
It is. They actually tell the players, don't do that. I do enjoy some of the college games over the holidays. That's that's kind of the fun of it all. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go to break a little early because I got happy time to talk about. I think it might be a little bit harder for the Republicans this election cycle. Maddie happy. We'll take a break. Come on back. It is the Matt McNeil Show here on your Thursday.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat, is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity and styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
Holiday shopping is easy with the Park Tavern. From now until December 31st, stop into the Park Tavern, buy a $100 gift card, you'll receive a $25 Park Tavern gift card for free. You heard that right. Buy a $100 Park Tavern gift card, you'll receive a $25 gift card for free. And the best part is you get to decide which gift card you keep and which gift card you gift. The Park Tavern is open regular hours throughout the holiday season, offering great food and family fun. On Louisiana Avenue, north of Highway 7 in St. Louis Park, the holidays are just better with the Park Tavern.
Here's Aiden, Elizabeth, and Corey from Wellshire Memory Care with a holiday message.
This holiday season, the Wellshire family wants to take a moment to reflect on the incredible journey that we have shared with so many of you. To our current and past families who have entrusted us with the care of a loved one living with Alzheimer's or any other forms of dementia, thank you for allowing us to be a part of your lives. We know that this time of year can be bittersweet. It is a season filled with memories, love, and togetherness, but it can also remind us of the challenges that you have faced and the courage it takes to walk this path.
At the Wilshire, we are deeply honored to have been there to support you through those moments, to create a safe, compassionate space where your loved ones live with pride and dignity, and where your family could find comfort and hope. This holiday season, we're sending our warmest wishes to you and your families. May you find peace and cherished memories, joy in the present, and hope for the future.
From all of us at the Wellshire, happy holidays. You are forever a part of our family.
If your family member or loved one needs a memory care home, visit WellshireMN.com. That's WellshireMN.com.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
You and I. It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. There's a story out about that more assault. It's yikes. Anyway, let's move on. Speaking of yikes. Oh, what's that warmth I'm feeling? Oh, that's right. It's a ray of sunshine. My Pillow CEO Mike Lindell indeed has launched his campaign for Minnesota governor today, vowing to fix the state's problems, run the government like a business, and not back down from the debunked election fraud theories, and more Hardee's biscuits. Hey! The Hardee's biscuits thing, I could be on board with you on there, Mike, but that's it. So yeah, let's vowing to fix the state's problems. Oh, dear God, you? No. 2, run the government like a business. Dude, weren't you taking like payday loans to try to keep your business open because you mismanaged it so bad? And haven't you been found guilty in court after court after court case of owing people millions of dollars? Okay. And election fraud. Okay. Lindell's entrance into the race is likely to shake up the political landscape in Minnesota, as the close ally of Trump instantly became one of the most well-known Republicans running for governor in a field of about a dozen candidates seeking to face Governor Walz. Lindell is also likely to be the top contender for the Minnesota GOP nomination due to his prominence in the MAGA movement. Lindell told the Minnesota Star Tribune he considers himself a frontrunner of the GOP field for governor. Oh, yeah, you are there, but nowhere else. Even though he's faced intense legal and financial turmoil that's threatened the survival of his company. Success! I'm going to win, Lindell said in an interview Wednesday at My Pillow's Chaska headquarters. Other GOP candidates from governor are already jockeying for Trump's endorsement when Lindell entered the race. As a matter of fact, and I give Patrick credit here, he was talking about this. You were talking about this when we came in here, that whole thing they did at Southwest State University over in Marshall earlier this week, where was that a preemptive attempt by all the candidates to try to get Trump's attention and say, endorse me before Mike Lindell gets in the race?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if they were trying to play to the extremists who will decide the nomination or if they were worried about Lindell getting in. I don't know.
Yeah. Regardless, I mean, you gotta, Mike is going to, it would be stunning if Trump doesn't endorse him. I mean, it would be stunning. And my guess is that Bannon still has Lindell on his podcast, I think, on a regular basis, right?
Apparently he was just on it today after his announcement.
Okay, so let's go back in time. Last year, when Amy Klobuchar was running for Senate, they decided to put Royce White out there. And the reason why Royce White became the guy was because of Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon basically scared every other Republican candidate out of the way and put that wildly inferior candidate in place. So Bannon's going to do the same thing with Lindell. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. God. Lindell told the Star Tribune he considers himself the front runner of the GOP field for governor, even as he's faced intense legal and financial turmoil that's threatened the survival of his company. I'm going to win. Other GOP candidates for governor were already jockeying for Trump's endorsement when Lindell entered the race. Minnesota House Speaker Lisa Demuth, 2022 gubernatorial nominee Scott Jensen, the witch doctor, State Representative Kristen Robbins, Minneapolis attorney Chris McNeil and businessman Kendall Qualls are all seeking the GOP nomination, among others. Lindell said he told Trump in August that he's considered running for Minnesota governor, but he declined to say how the president responded. He said he hopes to receive the Trump's endorsement, but noted the president did not back him when he ran for chair of the Republican National Committee. Well, I think you got a better chance of getting the endorsement from Trump for this than that. Okay, are you ready? This next line? Chef's kiss. Are you ready? Lindell said Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, is giving him political advice. He says Giuliani works for his media network, Lindell TV. Okay, let me get this right. The great, and I do mean white, hope for the Republican Party is Mike Lindell being advised by Rudy Giuliani. You guys made this trap. You guys made this trap for yourselves. I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you, in a few minutes, I'll give you some advice. I will give you some advice. All right? He's been part of many campaigns, Lindell said. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, okay, sure. The pillow magnet said he jumped into the governor's race of his own accord, not because anyone else asked him to. He wants the Republican Party of Minnesota's delegates to support him because of his vision for the state rather than his ties to the president. I believe I will stand on my own merit, Lindell said. Walz, who's widely seen as a political foe to Trump, is seeking a historic third consecutive four-year term. After a failed run for vice president, the DFL governor is trying to make next year's election a referendum on Trump as Republicans criticize his handling of the fraud cases. Well, it's not like he had to, he was the rubber stamper of the individual cases. But as a matter of fact, I commend Walz on his treatment because he was the one guy that finally said enough's enough. Anyway, now that all being said, Republicans, you did this to yourself, man. You guys did this to yourselves. You guys are now stuck with this, and I don't know how you get away from it. I was under the mindset before Lindell got in this that Scott Jensen was going to, he built up a lot of name recognition in the last election cycle, and he definitely, I don't think he really ever stopped campaigning. I think that he was out there kind of still working these Republican areas. I think the of all the candidates that are in the race, the one that this hurts the most immediately is Scott Jensen, because Scott Jensen basically went the crazy cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs MAGA route, and Lindell is definitely going to fill that void. For the rest of you guys, now I've already talked about, I see what your Republican Party is. You've got a bit of a racism issue. You sure got a misogyny issue. So that's going to, as much as you guys like to think to yourself that that's going to just work itself out, that's not. That's part of who the party is. As I mentioned yesterday, your party actually has Nazis in it. There are Nazis in the Republican Party, and at no point do you guys say, hey, you Nazis, get out of the party. As a matter of fact, you're terrified of doing that. That tells you a lot there. And the reality is the most ferocious, vibrant voices within the Republican candidate selection process are the lunatic fringe. Royce White was such, and he is more than likely going to be the Senate candidate again. He was so grossly out of his league. To give you an idea how bad he is, Angie Craig, for some reason, went over to his booth at the state fair and tried to shake his hand, and he didn't even want to shake Angie Craig's hand. And you think to yourself, well, here I am shaking Angie Craig's hand. He didn't want to even do that. He just is such an incompetent boob of a candidate. Lindell is of the same mold, and you guys all of a sudden thought you had something here. There were these fraud cases out here. You've got a U.S. attorney who's basically willing to turn this into a political prosecution and all that good stuff. And now all of a sudden, you guys are going to be hooked with Michael freaking Lindell and Royce White. All right, here's some advice. If I am any of the non-extremist MAGA people, you're never going to there's a 1-2 punch now. You either got Lindell or Jensen, and you're not going to out-extreme them. Your only hope is to immediately distance yourself from Trump and the rest of the Republican Party and say, the country is in a wrong trajectory. It's in a wrong path, that we need to revisit the morals and standards of the Republican Party. The Nazis need to get out of the Republican Party, that we should not be persecuting the Somali community because you guys refuse to say Somali for some reason. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but you should become an old school moderate Republican and basically start pleading with the other moderate Republicans to basically, you have to show up at the primaries, you have to show up at the conventions, or else this party is doomed again. And maybe you might be able to pull off a miracle. I doubt it. I honestly do. I honestly doubt you'll be able to do it, but maybe you would. But that's what it's going to take. I mean, that is what it's going to take, is you absolutely, because you're not going to out MAGA Lindell. You're not going to out MAGA Jensen. So you're already behind the 8 ball there. So the only other option you have is to immediately come on out and say, I'm against Trump. They should extend the Affordable Care Act. They should stop rounding up people. Nazis get out of the party. And hey, moderate Republicans, you still exist out there. If you want to save your party, now is the time for you to save the party and nominate me. None of them are going to have the guts to do that. Let me repeat that. None of them will have the guts to do that. But that's your only path. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. We'll take a break. Come on back. I've got to go into Grand Canyon Carnahan because something is really weird in Nisswa. I'll come back to that. It's the Matt McNeil Show.
It seemed that life was so wonderful.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. It's been great working with so many of the passionate AM 950 listeners over the years. We have realized how important AM 950 is to the community. I want to see AM 950 continue to grow and continue to thrive into the future. To help continue to grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to do your part by liking and sharing the content on AM 950 social media platforms.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Ryan has always told me the best time to get work done is during the colder months of the year because demand is much lower. He is backing that up again by offering 30% off labor on windows and siding from now until the end of December. Call Snap Construction now to get 30% off labor on windows and siding. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Trust the company AM 950 trusts Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, and window contractor in the metro area. Get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
This December, Fortune's Pool Theater celebrates 20 years of creating theater in Minnesota with a free festival of Pirate Mayhem, featuring 2 irreverent R-rated musicals in repertory, Yar, the Lusty Busty Pirate Musical, and the world premiere, Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Xmas. 3 powerhouse women playing 20 roles, a live orchestra, hilarious songs, and sword fights. Join the cosmic madness now through December 21st at the Hive Collaborative in St. Paul. Tickets are free as our gift to you. Reserve at fortunespooltheater.org.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar, or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout, along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Attention event planners and festival organizers. This is Frank Brown from Minuteman Press Uptown, your union print shop partner for your next event. We're here to check items off your list and make your event the talk of the town. From stunning banners and eye-catching signage to programs, tickets, and name badges, we print everything. Get promotional products at prices that let you load up on merch and fill those swag bags. Make your event unforgettable with Minuteman Uptown. Visit us at mpuptown.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, a chance of snow with a low of 12. Then Friday, another possibility of snow in the morning with temperatures falling to 6. It's a critical time here at AM 950, and we need your help to keep the progressive voices you love on air. If you can, head to am950radio.com and make a donation today. You'll get our 6th annual calendar as a thank you. That's am950radio.com. KTNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
It is the Matt McNeil Show. White Christmas is over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater. If you've not seen a fantastic food, too. I've got a pair of tickets. This is a pair of tickets for dinner and a show. If you'd like to go catch White Christmas, a little bit of a holiday extravaganza over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, right now, be calling number 5, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Caller number 5, you'll win yourself a pair of tickets over to White Christmas over at the Chanhassen Dinner Theater and enjoy that food, enjoy the show. I hope you have a good time. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205 is the number. So if you don't remember, 2 weeks ago, I think Brett and I were doing the show that day, and we had a story of Jennifer Carnahan. Now, if you don't remember, Jennifer Carnahan was the late Jim Hagedorn's wife. She was the head of the Republican Party in Minnesota, and that came crashing down as a disaster. It was such a delight. It was her mismanagement and her allegiances within that organization caused her to have to flee that role. She had ended up in Nisswa. Now, apparently she owned a gift shop or, something there, a salon or something. I don't know exactly. I think it's in the story here. I'll get to it in a second. But she owned something there, ran for mayor, became the mayor. And there was a story that came on out that said that she was assaulted by a local. And we were talking about this, and I mean, obviously, we were saying, okay, hopefully this is not someone from the, a political thing. And I said, well, I brought up the point with Brett. I said that my experience when I was doing planning and zoning in my town was the people most upset with me were not people who just disagree with me on politics. There were people where they felt like they're, I wanted to expand my garage and you wouldn't let me do that, blah, 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 blah. And so that got to be, you got into that, a little bit of haranguing, how you could say. And that's where we left it. Well, apparently things in Nisswa are pretty, something else is going on here. Less than a year after Jennifer Carnahan took over as the mayor of Nisswa, the tourist city in northern Minnesota is embroiled in a controversy with at least one council member calling for her resignation. Carnahan was pushed out of her position as chair of the Republican Party of Minnesota in 2021. Oh, good times. Good times. She did not attend the special meeting called Wednesday to discuss her conduct. More than 40 residents filled the room the morning after a snowstorm had dumped 8 inches of snow in the area. And this was 4 council members said they were hoping Carnahan would be there so they could find a better path forward as the city in the midst of dysfunction. There's been a revolving door of staff leaving, and the city is now without an administrator or a clerk. Okay. They called the special meeting after Carnahan recently claimed online that she was physically assaulted by a resident. And this is the story that we talked about. That resident had sent Carnahan an email addressing what she felt was unfit conduct for a mayor. The resident then denied assaulting Carnahan, and prosecutors twice have declined to press charges. Oh, so now the more you know, rainbow emoji. I think we're starting to get a little bit more of an idea of what exactly happened here. So Apparently, someone sent Carnahan an email addressing what she felt was unfit conduct for a mayor. The resident denied assaulting Carnahan, and prosecutors once again have declined twice to press charges. This is not an act of violence against a city official. This is a violation of our code of conduct, said council member Bruce London in an interview. It's a train wreck, and I think it's our responsibility to prevent this from going further in this negative fashion. At the meeting Wednesday, Councilmember Jessie Zahn called for Carnahan's immediate resignation. She brought failed city politics to cabin country, and she's burning the cabin down, Zahn said in an interview. Now, Jessie, with all due respect, this is not city politics. She wouldn't be able to pull that crap here. Okay, she would have been bounced a long time ago if she tried to pull this crap here. No, this is something that's unique to your communities. And we've talked about this with many other places where you fall in love with the mega before you fall in love with the person. And you have to judge the person before you fall in love with them. And you guys don't know. Your whole mentality is, well, it's a Republican, it can't be a bad person. And you see, this is why you get into these problems. This isn't a big city thing. This is, she went to Nisswa because she absolutely could get elected there in the modern climate of the right. Absolutely. Carnahan has declined interviews after the meeting Wednesday, provided a statement to the Star Trib saying she will not resign. She didn't attend the meeting because it appeared clear from the start that this was just going to be political theater and a coordinated effort to use official city business as a platform for political retaliation against me, as the mayor's statement read. No evidence of wrongdoing was presented. No specific code violations were identified. Instead, residents and council members aired personal opinions and political disagreements under the guise of official concerns. Well, you are a public figure there, Jen. Yeah, Grand Canyon. And by the way, the term Grand Canyon Carnahan comes from her. Apparently, when Jim Hagedorn was around, she basically demanded the park staff at the Grand Canyon give her a VIP tour because, do you know who my husband is? Sort of thing. So, of course, Grand Canyon Carnahan was born with that one. Still one of my faves. Not as good as the bestiality jokester. God, I miss her. She was down that Rochester politician, that politician down there. She was a delight. Yeah, Republicans, you guys got some issues. Anyway, your job as a politician, Jennifer, that means code of conduct and behavior. In the same sense as that, and I'm not saying this is you, but I mean, if you have a mayor who all of a sudden every night's getting schnocker drunk and stumbling home, well, that's not becoming of the town, and that can be something that's brought up as code of conduct. Or if they basically have somebody who's very publicly having an affair with someone on the staff. Well, you can say, oh well, it's not written down in bylaws, but the reality is that stuff like that, personal conduct does matter when it comes to public opinion and public, office holders. So that's just a fact. And clearly there is enough people within Nisswa that feel as if your behavior is not good. Months of tension, infighting, and accusations of Carnahan creating a toxic workplace, which, by the way, once again, was one of the dings against her with the Republican Party, is that when she was in charge of the Republican Party, there were people who were making allegations that it was an insanely toxic work environment there. Insanely toxic. And something that this story even references that, the Minnesota Republican Party accused her of the toxic workplace stuff. Led up to the meeting, some longtime staffers have resigned since Carnahan took office. 2 interim city administrators stayed several weeks before resigning. Several weeks. Wow. Maggie Wentler, the city's finance specialist who is filling in the roles of administrator and clerk, said there's a lot of tension at the city hall, and she has not seen her and she has not seen in her 12 years in the city, not at this level, not at this degree. The most recent administrator, Keith Hiller, who did not respond to request for comment, noted in an organizational assessment many anonymous staff complaints about the mayor. According to his copy of the report, amid a mixture of comments, some of the complaints include, our mayor is a bully, she's political, and a terrible leader. The mayor is a problem, period. The mayor has no experience with city governance, period. She got elected and is now top of the food chain. And that's in quotes. So clearly, a lot of people think she's a horrible person. After a few months as mayor, Carnahan ran in a special state Senate primary to fill a vacancy left by former state Senator Justin Eichhorn, who resigned after being charged with sexually soliciting a minor. And once again, Republicans, you guys can't win statewide races. Why again? What was it? Oh, Lindell is going to be your candidate for governor. Oh. If he does a press conference at a Hardee's, I think I will actually fall over and I will just, it'll be perfect. With a biscuit in his hand. Probably made the most appealing to the masses he would be. So she ran for that special state Senate primary for Eichhorn seat. Zahn, who said he donated $2,000 to her $2,000 to her Senate campaign and $8,000 to a political action committee supporting her because it was clear to me that Nisswa was a stepping stone for Carnahan. I don't think that's an exaggeration or a misclarification at all. I made that point too when she threw her hat into the ring for the Eichhorn seat. Was, boy, weren't you just elected in Nisswa? So after Carnahan lost the Senate race, Zahn said things changed and tensions grew inside City Hall over a proposed sales tax. The situation escalated with the assault allegation this fall. It started with an email that Sophie Foster, 27, sent the mayor on November 20th after she said she overheard Carnahan in the Nisswa bar and restaurant where Foster works talking about ways to get Zahn off the council. In an interview Tuesday before the meeting, Carnahan denied discussing this at a restaurant. Kind of sounds like something you discuss at a restaurant out in the public. Foster emailed Carnahan and Councilmember Joe Hall in defense of Zahn and asked Carnahan to apologize. Multiple of us overheard hostile, rude comments about him, which I've been told is not a new thing for you, Foster's email read. Carnahan never replied to the email. A week later, after the city's annual holiday lights parade, Carnahan said she was aggressively confronted by Foster outside the municipal bar, Ye Olde Pickle Factory. According to police reports, Foster said she overheard Carnahan call her a derogatory name before the two discussed the email. Carnahan denies calling her a derogatory name and instead said Foster pushed her forearm against her. Foster denies this and said she was surprised to see the next day that Carnahan posted about it on Facebook. Last night I was physically assaulted, Carnahan wrote on Facebook, noting she had filed a police report. And that's kind of where we saw it. Records obtained by the Star Tribune show the prosecutor declined to press charges over a lack of probable cause. The case was closed and reopened a week later, given another eyewitness account. There's no surveillance footage, but the prosecutor again declined to press charges. Copies of Foster's email and the last city administrator's report were handed out at Wednesday's meeting, attended by Foster and many of her supporters. I drove through the snow today on my ball tires to be here for Sophie because what happened over the last few weeks is completely unacceptable, said Josh Gazelka. Gazelka showed up? Oh, God. This is just... And you guys still haven't won a statewide race in a while, have you? So Josh Gazelka shows up. Now, if you're wondering why, this is the son of former Minnesota Senate Majority Leader Paul Gazelka, who it is rumored to have that he was trying to overthrow the state government and Governor Walz during the uprising over George Floyd with Bob Kroll. Once again, you guys haven't won a statewide office in a while, huh? Really? Wow, it's amazing. All righty. About a half dozen residents spoke out against Carnahan's behavior. So once again, and it should be noted, this is Republicans calling out another Republican. This isn't, I mean, I'm sure she'll say, they're a bunch of liberals. No, this is clearly Gazelka's kid. Yeah. About a half dozen residents spoke out against Carnahan's behavior, noting they were disappointed in what led up to the meeting and her absence. In the Tuesday interview, Carnan said she accepts the outcome of the alleged assault case, but stands by her account of what happened. Whether or not the case gets charged doesn't mean I didn't experience what I did. Well, yeah. Okay, you know, assault is never a good thing. But if you're at the point where everyone else is lying, I'm the only one telling the truth, it's kind of hard to take you on face value. How about we say it like that? She added that this area of political violence is scary and it's alarming. Now, this is where I get really kind of pissed off at Carnahan. What you seem to be doing is trying to take the political violence that has occurred in this state and try to make it something that you're the victim of as well, by, at worst, by your own admission, is somebody who might have accidentally hit your forearm, and you're trying to make it sound like it was an assassination attempt. At least that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this whole thing. I don't try to take other people's tragedy and use it for your own advantage. Have zero tolerance for that. Asked what is, listen to this. This is actually one of the smartest damn things I've heard in a while. And this is Zahn. Asked what is feeding the tension and dysfunction at City Hall, Carnahan said, I'm limited to what I can say in my role as an elected official. Zahn, though, asked the same question, said he doesn't understand why there is so much drama in Nisswa, but he believes Carnahan is repeating a troubling political pattern. She is so conditioned to defensive posturing when it's so premature that she doesn't know any other way. Holy God. Bravo, Zahn. That is, and maybe sometimes it takes and I don't know if Zahn, the fact that people are defending him and Gazelka's kids out there defending him, I'm presuming he's a Republican. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he is a moderate Democrat or something like this. But that is one of the most spot on things, because that's what MAGA is. That is what the Republicans are. She is so conditioned to defensive posturing when it's so premature that she doesn't know any other way. She walks into a room and she's always on the defense. Good morning. What's good about it? That sort of thing. I cannot, that is for so concise. That is bravo, Zahn. I think you basically painted 90% of the Republican Party right now. Well, at least the MAGA part of the Republican Party. 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Did we give away those tickets, Patrick?
Yes, we did. Dave in Andover, congratulations.
You know what? I am dreaming of a white Christmas. And Dave in Andover, you'll be enjoying that as well. Guess what? I got a pair giveaway tomorrow as well. So listen for your chance to win tomorrow during the show. 952-946-6205. Draz is back. Well, only for a little bit. We'll talk about that when I come back. It is the Matt McNeil Show.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Let Next Chapter Booksellers help you with your holiday shopping. Next Chapter Booksellers has the perfect gift ideas. Books make for easy, thoughtful gifts that are a breeze to wrap and ship. And if you're not sure what book to get, the friendly staff at Next Chapter Booksellers are great at recommendations for any age and taste. Explore their wide selection of puzzles and games for interactive family fun. And if you're still stumped, then try a Next Chapter Booksellers gift card. That's Next Chapter Booksellers in St. Paul, your destination for easy-to-give gifts.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Hi, I'm Beth from Big Hill Books in the charming Bryn Mawr neighborhood at 405 Penn Avenue South in Minneapolis. Bring your friends, your book club, or just yourself to celebrate Jane Austen's 250th birthday, Tuesday, December 16th at 6 p.m. Enjoy trivia, treats, Jane Austen-themed books and gifts, and a showing of Pride and Prejudice at 7 p.m. Tickets are $15. RSVP is required. Reserve your spot at bighillbooks.com/events.
Hey, Chanhassen and Eden Prairie. It's Alex with Buzzcut Mowing. Winter's on its way. Why spend your morning shoveling snow when I can take care of it for you? I provide fast, thorough, and reliable snow removal. Your driveway and sidewalk stay clear, safe, and completely stress-free. Stay warm, skip the back-breaking work, and let me handle all the heavy lifting this season. Visit buzzcutmowingmn.com today to make winter easier, safer, and more enjoyable with Buzzcut Mowing.
The Matt McNeil Show. God, man, that is just that is the mess. And I mean, I want to make sure I point out, I'm presuming most of the other people in Nisswa are Republicans. I'm presuming that is the case. And this is them basically saying enough's enough. Now, are we seeing the beginnings of the Republican Party trying to take itself back from the Trump side? Maybe, I don't know. But I can tell you right now, it's the vast majority of the Republican Party is still terrified of Trump and MAGA. And the MAGA people, trust me when I say, MAGA people are freaking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They are a delight. Oh. Speaking of delights, Draz! Another longtime state legislator has announced he will not seek re-election this year. Senator Steve Drazkowski smells as good as he sounds. Sorry. I smell Drazkowski. He has shared his decision in a Facebook post on Tuesday. He is not seeking re-election. Drazkowski represents Senate District 20, which covers Wabasha and Goodhue counties, along with portions of Olmsted, Winona, and Dakota counties. He previously served in the Minnesota House from 2007 to 2023. He has always been a delight. Drazkowski served on several influential committees throughout his career, including those related to taxes, transportation, agriculture, and education. He was seen as one of the most right-wing voices within the Minnesota GOP, and in 2018 split off from the main party to form the new House Republican Caucus with three other House Republicans, which included Jeremy Munson to oppose then the DFL majority. Was that also Eichhorn was part of that? That might have been. Did he? Yeah. Was it Eichhorn that he was with on that? Oh, who was it? Drazkowski. I'm kind of looking here to see if they have it listed on who he did it with. Anyway. So, yeah, he might have been Eichhorn, who we mentioned in the previous story. Earlier this year, he notably authored legislation designating Trump derangement syndrome as a mental illness. In 2023, he made headlines when he opposed the Minnesota DFL's bid to introduce free school lunch meals, saying he has yet to meet any person in Minnesota who is hungry. And once again, as I said that, as Drazkowski went out there and insisted, nobody in the state is hungry. It is a mystery why the Republican Party hasn't won a statewide race in over a decade. Well, almost 2 decades. Not a statewide, not once. And he's out there screaming, there's no hungry people there. I don't know why he is leaving. He's got enough time in office that he could become a lobbyist for sure. I'm wondering if he's starting to see that the fact that his far right shtick is not playing. And it's pretty hard to claim you're the Christian candidate when you're out there saying, starve, hungry people, starve. Because the Gospel of Matthew, that ain't on your side. I know. A dishonest Christian Republican. Who knew? Native Roots Radio is up next. Have a good one. We are back tomorrow. Till then, see ya.
Here at AM 950,